Hey, we're Beach Sandals, and these are our 3 prototypes.
To start it off, my first prototype is a bucket, which is also a cup holder and a food holder. Basically, the idea behind it was to give people the opportunity to be able to walk around, eat food, enjoy their drink as soon as they get it, and not have to sit at a table or scrapple around, have to hold their drink in their pocket, and etc.
The next prototype that we have is an app that we made using, we have a very rough prototype using Adobe XD, and it's basically a platform for vendors and food truck owners to connect together to make group orders and buy bulk items together, which is essentially going to make it less expensive to order food and a much easier process.
And our final prototype was a meal tracker to make sure that as people's food was coming out, they felt happy with the speed that it was coming because there was more transparency in the process.
So the needs that we identified in creating these prototypes were for the bucket. We talked to a former food truck vendor named Haley, and she talked about how the food trucks she noticed that did the best were the ones that had very easily food that was really easy to take on the go and really portable. So that's how we came to the idea of the bucket.
Oh, sorry. With keeping customers happy, we interviewed Haley, who used to work at Salad Monster, and she mentioned that one of her worst interactions with customers was when they're unhappy about the speed at which food was coming out. But typically there's only one person preparing food in the truck, so there needs to be more transparency to encourage people to know that their food is being prepared, but there's a lot of people in front of them. So that's why we took a meal tracker system.
And for the third prototype, the app, we basically found out that ordering food can be complicated when we talked to Day, the general manager at San Francisco, and he told us that sometimes ordering from Costco and other places can be too expensive, so he has to drive somewhere in order to get it cheaper, but it's a very long process. And I thought about my own personal experience as a kitchen manager and how buying items in bulk can be complicated. So the idea is we want to make ordering bulk items cheaper and be easier and more collaborative, and by that we'd be creating community within the food truck owners.
In terms of our future direction, we're not exactly sure which prototype we want to go with. We really like all 3 ideas, so we're hoping to talk to Akemi after class and kind of narrow it down. And once we choose one, we're hoping to do one more prototype and iteration so we can we can refine our ideas better before we do the final presentation, because I think we found changes that could be made through the testing and all of them.
In testing the prototype for the bucket, basically I showed up to breakfast and I would walk up to teammates or friends of mine. I would grab their drink, put it in the bucket in the cup holder compartment, and then if their food was small enough, like if it was a muffin or if they had a container that would fit, I would ask them to just put their food in there, walk around, eat it, give me feedback, and so far so good.
As for the app, I created a very rough prototype using Adobe XD, and I showed it to 2 people. One of them is a kitchen manager here at Stanford, and the other is a product design student. Both of them liked the model and the idea, and said that they would use it and would see why other people would use it. They did have some feedback about how people are going to use the app, basically the interface and the process, and we realized that that's actually part of what could make the process easier / more complicated. So going forward, we want to work on that, and we want to work on the business side, because we want to see how that could make the app more clear and concise to use.
Yeah, and for the meal tracker, we wanted to know, we were split between the idea of having people look at a link on their phone and know when their food is ready based on that, or having a larger screen to show if their meal is being prepared or if it's ready to go. So we had a link that I gave to people as I prepared quesadillas for people at my house. I let people come up and I'd give them a number and a link when I added them to the line. I had a whiteboard queue for when people's meals were in the queue, being prepared or given out. We had 10 people come, and 40% of the people actually clicked on the link to try to look at it that way. It actually just went to Google, but I wanted to know if people would engage with it. In terms of did it improve satisfaction or clarity, there's only one person preparing the food, so having a in the queue, being prepared or ready system didn't make sense because I can only work on one person's food at a time. So we might want to redesign for a one-person prep process. But we did think the link was useful.
Thank you.
Thank you.